Yeah, it's a long story and also a short story. Basically, I was suffering from depression. I was on the edge of having a mental breakdown, and I'd been depressed, had symptoms for, my goodness, ever since far back as I can remember. And I think it just went untreated for such a long time. And I didn't, personally, what I didn't do is I didn't ask for help. So many years, so many people I could have asked, and I didn't. And one thing led to another, and I contemplated suicide. The pain, the depression was just so bad. I just couldn't see a way out. And luckily I made the phone call to South Pacific. Someone picked up, and I took it from there. Thank God I made it through the doors of the hospital. Wow, acceptance, peace, relief that I wasn't alone anymore. I had no strength really to refuse help. And there were people here who said, I understand. I know what you're going through. There's people here who are going through the same thing right now. And so, when I came here, that's exactly what I found, just acceptance. And it was such a relief to know that I wasn't the only one going through this situation. What helped me through my process and leading me into recovery was that at South Pacific they treat the whole person. And you're not just, oh, you're depressed, okay, we'll do this for you. Or you have an eating disorder, we'll do this for you. They treat you as the whole person. They really try to look at you and, individually, case by case, what can we do for you? How can we teach you the tools that will help you out in the real world? That's what I found fantastic, because here at South Pacific, it was just, I guess, a breath of fresh air, because it wasn't, here's how you're going to get better. But they actually taught us the tools, we worked them, and they said, okay, now go practice them out in the real world. And they had great aftercare. So you could come back, you had treatment, day classes, and it was wonderful, because you could say, okay, here's what happened to me now that I'm back outside. I'm having a tough time. What do I do? Or how could I improve upon this? So just everyone here just was so sincere and so professional in what they did. But again, everything was just so practical and really useful, because that was the scary part, is you're here in this wonderful safe bubble. Your meals are done for you. You have people who understand you. But when you get out into the real world, how are you going to cope? And for me, that was key. The South Pacific, they broke that that worldview that I had of myself as a depressed person, gave me a chance to stand back and have a look at, gee, things can be different, and then taught me how to actually do that in the real world. It was exceptionally helpful to have my family, be a part of Family Week, and also to be aware of what I was actually going through, because I think that would have been tremendously difficult to go home and my family go, who is this person? What has she been through? It's hard enough going home and being in recovery, and trying to work the program, because it's all up to you, the individual person. But you need to know that there is support out there, that having those networks. And so for my family, for my kids to be able to come on visiting days and to meet my friends, for me to point out, here's where we go, and we have our group meetings in the mornings, and here's where I have my breakfast, and that's the beach where we go for walks. And then for my husband to actually be a part of Family Week, oh, my gosh, I had the best therapist, and she, how can I put it? It was probably the first time we had really, really spoken honestly, right from the gut, ever. It was none of the masks, none of the trying to make nice for anyone. And our therapist, Maria, boy, she, anytime that she caught us, trying to please each other, or, say something just to try to help the other, she'd catch me, and she'd catch my husband. And it really helped us both learn how to communicate better. We're still working on it, but it's fantastic, because we're still using the tools that we had in Family Week. And I'm just so grateful. There were things I never knew in our relationship until I was here at South Pacific and during Family Week, that now I know about my husband, and thank God, because our marriage could have crumbled very easily. It was at that tenuous stage because of my disease. Now, 100% better. Definitely holistic, because again, it's not just addressing you as a person who has a disease or a mental illness, but it's addressing you as a person who lives out in the real world and who has relationships with family and friends, who has a career, has a life. And so it's addressing how to cope and how to go out and live a better life, a healthier life. And so Family Week was fantastic. I just wish that all of my family could have come. It was a miracle, really. It saved me, saved my marriage. I think the structure of the program has been fantastic in that we're all in it together, and we all, again, when I first started the conversation, it was fantastic to know that I wasn't alone. Whether somebody had a problem with alcohol or drugs or eating disorder or what have you, we were all in it together. Having the group meetings in the morning and having our primary groups, which is, again, everybody, you get assigned to a different group and you go there for therapy twice a day. And just the structure of the program, because you bond with your group, but you also bond with everyone who's in hospital at that time. And I think knowing that you're not alone, that everybody has something, and to know that I suppose we were treated individually, sometimes by the psychiatrist, and we always had our primary therapist we could go and talk to. But still, to actually go and have the group activities, we had activities most every morning, and you could go and you had a choice, the different ones, meditation, mindfulness, anger management, all different topics. And so pretty much we all just formed as a solid, cohesive group. And that was wonderful, because if you're having a rough day and something wasn't, working right, and, just having a case of the SADS, you had people you could talk to and like, yeah, I've been there, done that, I know it. And so I think, again, everybody, we just came together, whether it was in your primary group or it was just the community as a whole. And I think that was just fantastic, because you had that support. And I'm still friends, with quite a few people who I was in South Pacific with as well. And I'm very grateful for that, because they know where I'm coming from. Oh, it was an exceptionally supportive environment. And again, because we all became a cohesive group, whether in the community, but especially in your primary groups, there are things I heard from people that probably some of their closest family members don't know, and same thing, vice versa. And it was hard, especially for myself as someone who wanted to keep it all together and look like everything was just fine on the surface, whereas underneath it was churning and messy and ugly and dark. I went and I opened myself up. The tools that I learned here helped me to peel back, open up, be vulnerable, and also be strong. I don't think I've ever cried so much. Oh my heavens, but I also don't think I ever laughed so much. It's one thing I say to my husband, I go, oh my God, I laughed so hard when I was in hospital and had such joy, but I'd never connected with that, ever, till I came here to South Pacific. Never. So I had the extreme depths of pain, but the extreme depths of joy. But I was always safe and supported with my group and amazing staff, really, really good therapists. My goal, besides making myself healthy, is breaking the chain. That chain of depression, abuse, just the whole yucky history that I've had generations behind me. And my dear therapist, who I have now, who's one of the directors here, she said, look, you're breaking the chain. No need to give yourself guilt about what you did when you were sick. You're breaking the chain. And that's it. That's what keeps me going. That I'm modeling good behavior for my kids, and they'll carry that. They'll carry that forward.